Maybe it'll pop up. Who knows? Okay, everybody just close your eyes and relax. I call on the winds and wisdom keepers of the South to bless this space, to be with us and help us as we shed our skin, our fears, our resistance, all that does not serve us in this new spring season. I ask the wisdom keepers of the South to come and be with us. Mother Earth, we honor you and we love you. Aho. I call in the winds and wisdom keepers of the West. I call in the waters, the spirit of the moon, the spirit of the divine feminine, to bless us, to help lead us through and light our way into this new season where we will be creative, where we will plant seeds, where we will come into our own with joy and with grace. I call in the winds and wisdom keepers of the North to bless this work, to guide us, to help us get information that we need to write down so that we may heal. I call in the winds and wisdom keepers of the East, of the new, of the overview, of the high-flying birds who see the big picture. Come and bless this space. I call in the winds and the wisdom keepers of the ethers, the God, the goddess, those with many names and those who are nameless. I call you in. I call in the star beings to oversee this work and to guide us and to bless this space. Oh. So, I thought that would make my video pop on, but no. Anyway, so tonight I really want to talk about something that comes up when you begin writing, comes up when you begin to put yourself out there, comes up when you're doing new projects, and comes up all over the place, and that is, ta-da, slide, fear and resistance. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. But first, I kind of wanted to hear how everybody was doing in their process so far. If you just want to say a brief word about where you are in this, and have you been able to write regularly? Have you been able to, how is this going for you? Does anybody want to share? I know, Lois, you're just starting, so one of you other ladies.
Well, I haven't managed to write regularly, but working on it. And then it's been very interesting in terms of what I've been receiving is, and journaling feels both very personal, but also very sort of bigger than me. And I don't know how else to articulate that or articulate what I'm experiencing, but it feels very big picture, little picture all at the same time. So just rolling with that.
Cool. Thank you. Anybody else?
This is Sherry. I moved to this house about a year ago, and I've always had trouble finding that space that I feel connected, that I feel safe in. And so this week I really worked on trying to find that space. I found that I couldn't write inside the house. And
Nice.
So I'm just, if I have to, I'll just sit on the back porch. But the interesting thing for me was that I started dreaming again. I have not been dreaming for a long time, and dreams have always been really important to me. And when I started doing more shamanic types of things, I stopped dreaming for some reason. And now I started this week dreaming, and I started dreaming it was just, I know this sounds strange, but I started dreaming about my maternal grandmother, who I've never dreamed about before, ever.
Nice.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it was really interesting. Some of the dreams I had, it was
Yeah. That's awesome.
yeah. So it was a good week for me.
Excellent.
Oh my goodness, Sherry, I totally got chills as soon as you started talking about your dreams. Your dreaming. So this is Meg. I can say that so I have been writing somewhat consistently. I do have a practice of, trying to create, of course, that we're trying, create at least 15 to 20 minutes in the morning. It does not happen every morning, as I need to leave work before 7 in the morning.
Oh,
But it's really been amazing, pretty powerful that I think I have journaled every day, but once in the morning, recording dreams and doing more writing beyond the dreaming process. So that's been really beautiful, and also being willing to just be in the space of, I don't know what's coming yet, and that's okay.
great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I hear you. Really. So, anyone else?
Thank you, Jean. It's Cindy. Rose has been coming and visiting me. I'm drinking rose water, anything to help my process. I'm writing even when I'm driving. I'm like, please turn off. I just want to drive. So it's been an interesting experience. The light switches on, and even if I try to turn it off, which I have been desperately trying out of fear, resistance, I can't find the light switch anymore. So all I can do is just surrender and drink rose water. So that's where I'm at, the basics.
That's a great practice, though. Rose water clears everything. I'm going to have some when I'm done. So writing, writing actually can be both a cause and a cure for fear and resistance, which is kind of a paradox there, but it's sort of a truth. For most writers, resistance is reflected back to them in the blank page or the blank computer screen. I know that happens with me. Or by the voice of that inner critic that says, hey, what have you got to say? So that's something that happens quite frequently with me, I know. And as my grandmothers have said, resistance is just fear coming out to play. So there are actually two quotes I wanted to read to you from my grandmothers around resistance. And the first is that resistance can become a habit. It keeps you in your comfort zone. You cannot have movement and resistance at the same time. It is not possible. So that is one of the things that they were saying to me kind of throughout the writing of this book. And the other was that, the solution, kind of one of the solutions, which is breath is a way to move through resistance, as is the decision to simply let go. Accept where you are in this moment and let go of resistance to that. Do not desire to be anywhere else. Just keep your hand moving across the page. And I found that to be very good, good advice. So actually, I want to I want to just talk a little bit about this writing process as it relates to the resistance and the fear and things that come up when you write and things that are very, just very, I don't know, personal. I'm getting it. So, what I'm using basically is a process called expressive writing in the psychological field. But it has actually been well known in fields of energy healing for a long time. Any energy healing you do, Reiki, healing touch, shamanic healing, a lot of the other modalities. When you're holding on to something in your body, an event, a feeling, anything, it can eventually lead to a physical ailment or a physical disease or something, physical illness. And through the release of the feelings or the release of the event, the release of the issue, the process of healing can begin. And writing is a really good way to begin the process of release, to get that out of your body and onto the page. And this is called expressive writing. So, I have some science on this, but there's a man at the University of Texas who's been researching this for a while. And when he started, the prevailing theory was it might help people to overcome some inhibitions, or some traumatic memories may come up when they, with writing, or, people may be able to move beyond the experience. And they found that writing was a way to get them to talk about it, or a way to get them to get it out in the open, or it actually made them a little more willing to look at what was going on with them. But they found out that it was very complex and there was a lot more going on. And as people in shamanic fields have understood, yes, a lot more does go on. And so actually by expressing these emotions, it seemed to help people to be able to organize their thoughts, look at what was happening, and kind of detach from it in a way, so that as they wrote about it more and more, it became more like this happened to another person, or this didn't really happen to me, or this, not that they were denying it, but just that the energy of the event was outside of their body at that point. So so they were better able to become more emotionally healthy, more emotionally stable. Now they were working with people who had traumatic events, and that happens to us or not. This writing process can work for any type of event or issue or problem or anything. And also the odd thing is, once they've started writing about it, these people, even these very disturbed people, were able to open up and talk to others about it and share the experience. And in the sharing, there was a deeper layer of healing. So there's layer upon layer of healing that can happen when you write these things down. So that's kind of the premise I'm starting with. In shamanic traditions, the act of writing down your pain or issues removes it from your energy field. Now, we've known this for a long time. It puts it out onto the page. And here, it can begin to be viewed with detachment. And eventually, more and more detachment. After a process, you can work on releasing whatever it is that you need to release. And after a time, it just becomes a story that you can relate to or not. Sometimes not even relate to the story. So it's a good thing. It's a good process to practice. So I have this. So I have a couple of things. I have one of my favorite passages from the book, and this is them talking to me. It's not, but I think it can apply to many people, and it relates to. I was asking them about just something they wanted to tell me that day. I wasn't really feeling anything, but I was always having resistance as I wrote this book. So this is from my book, The Grandmothers, about water and resistance. The elements come up a lot in this book, of course. So they said, we wish to talk of the mother, of her waters, and what you are doing and experiencing at this time. You have not understood the water. This is me personally. It has always scared you because you cannot control the water. Even as a child, you were resistant to the pull and flow of water. You were calmed at a distance, but afraid to dive in. You stood on the shore because it was safe and because it was a place of peace. The crystals of the sand spoke to you. The waves beckoned and you kept your distance. 1 foot, maybe 2, would tentatively touch the water. Now is the time to dive deeply into the ocean of being, without resistance, without fear, and without any sight of land or safety to come back to. You must trust that you can swim, float, and dance in the waves. You will not drown. Drowning is resistance, not flow. The water has come to you in many uncomfortable ways because although you honor it, you do not embrace it. You stand at a distance and watch. We are inviting you to immerse yourself. Get wet. Let the waves take you away from the shore for a while. Remember the songs of water and how they play. So they go on to say, to begin to communicate with the creatures of the sea. Spend time with your shells. Listen for the tones of the water makes you when you let go of resistance. We are here today to teach you about water. It runs in your veins and it makes up your cells. It is an energy that speaks in your body. All of the stuck places or places of pain are simply resistance to life, to your own body, and to the waters. Embrace your life. Do not stand on the shore and watch. The water is warm. Come on in. So that's that to me was one of the one of the better passages that actually really spoke to something I have inside. And through the process of writing have been able to sort of overcome that and sort of get rid of some of that resistance. And then I have a story from the Buddhists, and I had a really great picture. But anyway, there was once, and then this is story time. So there was once this criminal who had committed a crime because, hey, that's what criminals do. That's their job. Anyway, he was sent to the king for his punishment. The king told him he had a choice of 2 punishments. He could be hung by a rope or take what's behind the big, dark, scary iron door. The criminal quickly decided on the rope. As the noose was being slipped on him, he turned to the king and asked, by the way, out of curiosity, what's behind that door? The king laughed and said, you know, it's funny. I offer everyone that same choice, and nearly everyone picks the rope. So, said the criminal, tell me, what's behind the door? I mean, obviously, I won't tell anyone. The king paused and then answered, freedom. But it seems most people are so afraid of the unknown that they immediately take the rope. So tonight, I want to work with breaking those ropes, breaking free of those ropes. And most of what I'm going to be doing is just some journey work, and then I'm going to let you write for a little bit. So I have one last quote about freedom as well that I really like, and I'm just going to have to read it here. And it's from Alan Watts, who is also a Buddhist. He said, our lives are one long effort to resist the unknown. The result? We're a planet full of folks walking around with metaphysical ropes around our necks, wondering why we feel a bit emotionally and spiritually dead to the world around us. So I think through this process, I know through this process, because personally I know this has happened for me, that by putting your writing, your art, yourself out there, first of all, there's nothing to be afraid of because it's all just in your mind. And second of all, this process does help you take away the layers that keep you apart from what you need to be doing. And it's a very amazing process. So last time I showed you a slide of an overstuffed closet, and there was there was a quote about writing and going into the closet and searching around in the closet for the one little thing that you needed. And we did some work around that. And it turns out, I talked to Lois Ramikis, who I think is here, not sure. She had told me that that had triggered an image for her, and she was spending a lot of time going into the closet and clearing some stuff out, which sort of sparked me, and I've been actually dreaming about this closet and going into it, and there's this, well, we'll go to it in the journey, but it's been in like all my meditations in the last week. So I think it's important, and I think it's important to explore. So we're going to be hanging out in the closet tonight, not just our own closet of the messiness of our lives and whatever that means for you. And I would like to do a journey around there. First, I have one more quote about the closet and about our fears of just letting go and writing it down and getting it out. Fears teach us to perk up and lean in when we feel we'd rather collapse and back away. They're like messengers that show us with terrifying clarity exactly where we're stuck. This very moment is the perfect teacher. And lucky for us, it's with us wherever we are. And that is Pema Chodron, another wonderful Buddhist person. So if you guys want, I'm going to do this journey. I'm going to rattle. Hopefully you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So odd. Okay, so I'm going to do a journey. This is a bit longer. And then I'm going to give you some time, 5 minutes or so, to write. And because I think it'll help ease you out of the journey, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. So just get comfortable and take a couple of deep breaths. And as you breathe, just breathe into those places that maybe feel stuck or maybe haven't let go of the day yet. Just allow them to relax. Allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself to feel the energy of the earth beneath you. And imagine yourself standing in front of a door. This is your own closet door. And you know that behind you is a big mess. But as you look at the door, you have the feeling that it's time to go inside and just look around. So you call in a guide. Could be the guide you worked with last time. It could be any guide that you have that comes. There is a guide who is willing to go with you into this and help you sort it out. And as your guide comes towards you, all else falls away but the door. And you open it and you step inside. The pathway into the closet seems fairly long and dark, like you can't really remember all this space. But it is wide and it is deep and it is dark. And your guide is beside you. And every now and then you bump into something, but you don't really let it deter you. You keep going because you know that within this closet lies something that you must look at and something that you must clear away. At some point as you walk, the closet begins to feel almost like a cave. It is dark. There are things on the wall that you don't know, but you are not afraid. You are safe within yourself. You are seeking something specific. You have a specific goal in mind. You are looking for that which you need to release. You are looking for that which you resist. And you begin to see a small pulsing yellow light off in the distance. Because it is pulsing, you know that there must be something there. It seems to be at the center of everything. And it gets larger as you approach it, larger and larger. And you have the feeling that this is your resistance. And it's wrapped in a fear that you have carried with you for a while. And with your guide at your side, you walk up to it and pick it up or stand beside it. And you begin to look within that pulsing yellow ball of light. And slowly it begins to reveal to you with perfect clarity what it is you need to see about your own resistance. And how you might start to release it. You may ask your guide for assistance with this. There is always assistance. And if you choose, you can ask your guide to help you as you try to dissolve this resistance. Here and now, in this time and space. You may be able to use your breath, or you may be able to just use your magic. Just allow it to get smaller. Allow it to begin to dissolve. Allow it to become manageable and something that you know and something that you can work with, or just let it go. At a time, your guide beckons you back. And as you begin to walk back, the way seems clearer. The path is not so dark anymore. And the closet seems to have straightened itself. And you come back and back, feeling lighter, feeling as if you have a handle on this resistance, or feeling that it is gone. And as you come back to the door, it is open. And you step through it. And there's space for you now to fly, to dance, to swim, to do whatever you like. Free. And as you come back into your breath and come back into the space where you are, into this here and now, just take a moment to write this journey, or write whatever you need to write. Just 5 minutes or so. Play some music. See that. Fix it. Okay, take a minute and finish up. Is everybody back?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Does anybody want to share?
Well, mine seemed really simple. I had a hard time at first visualizing a closet that was that big, because I don't think I've had a closet in my life that was big.
Me either.
But they've been junky, but not big. But I walked into the closet and I started to experience how everything was shades of gray and dark, and I kept walking and I saw the pulsing light, and when I came up to it, it was a large cube that was pulsating, and with the help of my guide, I picked it up and I found that it was soft, and it had a little nozzle on it where I could blow into it. So I blew and blew and blew into it, and it turned into a ball, a sphere. And so when the time was right, I took the sphere and I rolled it down the closet, and it just kept rolling and rolling until it disappeared. And then as it disappeared, I turned and I came out of the closet, and it was amazing to me that something was just so simple. It was just a matter of looking at it in a different way.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? I'm going to call on you.
This is Christine. For me, it was, well, first I need to admit that I did fall asleep a little bit in the journey. I spent like 4 hours within the past 24, so.
At least you didn't snore.
But despite that, what came forward was to focus on healing a long-term physical condition that has been with me, forever, and to work with that, this sense that really the call to release it, that it itself almost wants to be released, that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very interesting and very clear, and and of course I was nervous about it and felt resistance. But that, so despite my nodding, was came through. So I'm sure that'll be a huge part of what I journal about this coming week. And curious, and I'm wondering how that connects to the journey last week.
Yeah, you might want to look at that. And also, we do have a sharing session on Thursday if you guys are up for it. I don't know what people's schedules are like, but I can't do it at 7. I have to do it at 6 Central Time. But if you guys are up for it, I'd be happy to. We can structure it any way you like. It's time for you, and you can share either your writing, you can share your questions, you can share whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
We can do some impromptu channeling. I don't know. So
That could be fun.
Sounds like fun.
yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Anybody else, Meg?
Sure. Okay.
I can see your smiling faces. You just can't see me.
Hi, Lois. So settling into the journey, what I was called to reach for was a stone that I picked up a couple days ago at the Labyrinth, where I often stop on my run, and there's a beautiful statue of Mary, and I just asked her if I could approach and asked her what message she had about this new, well, not new, but new layer to my writing journey. And I looked down and saw this stone that is in the shape of a perfect heart, and her message to me came through pretty loud and clear, that it's time for me to share my journey healing my body, which of course is still in process. As a whole another layer of body shame has been coming up over the last week that I didn't say when you asked us to share what we've been dreaming and writing about. And so during this meditation, yes, Sherry, I hear you at first, like the mind was in the way. My closet is not that big. It's just a small closet.
You have to stay out.
I just mentioned Narnia.
So yeah, so that's a layer of resistance, of course, and I invited and asked my guide and my angel, and Hecate came with me. The three of us in this very tiny little closet.
Yeah.
And interestingly, when you guided us to the globe of yellow light, it became a muddy mess, and I just said, "Wait, how did this happen? What are you?" And thank you for asking us to remind us to simply ask our guides. And so I asked what happened and what this globe, now muddy mess, was. And just at that moment, my phone rang. And it became very clear. What I felt really strongly was that yes, the root of resistance, and that there's some adolescent stuff that has been coming up that I'm healing. And then I loved how you said, and you can work your magic. So it was like, oh my goodness. Oh wow, yes, in fact I can. So yeah, it's my injured adolescent self is what is really showing up in a big way. And she's been showing up in my dreams.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. How about you, Lois?
I'm off of mute now. I was on mute, so it's always hard to talk then. Well, yes, and so I went back to, as I like to call it, the emotional baggage closet, and
Yes. Thank you for that image.
yes, the emotional baggage closet and I are quite familiar with each other, anyways, and so my guide from last week and her animal consort gave me a lift back into the closet. So I got to ride my tiger in there, which I always like to do. And the golden light turned into like a TV for me, which I thought was interesting. And I got to watch without going into great lengths and details, but this whole issue that came up in college for me. And so I got to watch it on a TV, which I think was a good way of doing it because, put a little distance, it was that sort of, you're kind of, yeah. So it was that, a good way of handling it that way. And then it sort of, I turned the TV off and the TV sort of, just sort of shrunk and I just sort of blew it away. I don't know how to explain it, but, it kind of puffed away. But, I think I'm not dealing with teenage stuff, but I guess I'm dealing with 21-year-old stuff.
Yeah.
So, I've been working with this 21-year-old for the past week. And, it's coming along. But as I like to say, if you bury stuff for, 30 years, it takes more than a week to
It takes a while.
work through it.
Or can. Oh my.
So we're working on it. We're working on it. I think I'm through a level of anger, and so I always think you go through anger is a good thing to get through. So I think we're on to some new level here.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. Cindy, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still processing this because when you said a closet, I was like, okay, open the door. And then there was more doors. And I was like, uh-oh, what am I resisting? And it's resisting opening all these doors. So I just kept opening doors. And your prompt with the yellow light, I wanted it to be a certain form, and what came out were people that had been waiting for me. And I was like, oh, how did that happen? And they started coming forward, like not in my face, but we're so ready for you, and you're a little bit behind schedule. And there's more doors to keep opening, so they pointed me to more doors. So I was like, oh crap. So I will sit with this. I've been opening a lot of doors that I've put closed in writing a huge proposal for the hospitals with virtual reality. So I feel like I am creating my own virtual reality to write this proposal, which my brain really can't put together other than just seeing it as a door. So I will sit with these doors as they keep presenting themselves, and I'll do my best to keep opening them. So thank you.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I did. That's interesting. More doors. That's good. And Lois H. I see you up there.
Wow. The thing that struck me about this journey is that I was able to be more present with it than I typically am with journeys, and that is part of my journey right now is to be present, and to not set expectations. And so I got into that a little bit as you spoke about seeing the yellow light. I'm like, well, I want to see that light, I want to see that pulsing light. And that wasn't coming to me very strongly, but I was able to kind of let that go a little bit. So my writing around that reflected on not looking to future outcomes or words that I need to say or actions that I need to do, but just be in the present and receive with all of my senses, and act or speak if that's called for or not. So just kind of being with that at this point.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And again, and you all know this too, but if I'm telling you to go somewhere and you don't want to go there, you can go somewhere else. It's fine. Although, as long as you're not being resistant, you're just going. No, I'm kidding. You can go where you need to go. So this is good. I'm getting a sense that would it be helpful to go into these stories a little more and like do a specific writing around like what that child or what that teenager or what that 21-year-old like might have like rewriting her story maybe, or writing I don't know. I'm sort of thinking ahead, but would it be helpful to explore that a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think, yeah, and for me too, because, I was grateful you guys brought up aspects of from when you were young, because I've had those physical conditions since I was young too. So didn't connect with me about it being around youth too.
Okay.
And that turmoil. So interesting.
We'll do some more work around that, because that seems important. I don't know, was striking me. So I was, apparently I'm having a problem tonight. So I have another short sort of journey about where you're keeping this in your body. Is that a helpful thing?
Yeah.
Would you like to do that now? I think it might be good. I don't know. I just think this is not a long one, but it is sort of a, sort of taking some of the emotional things and the things that are coming up and saying, okay, where am I storing this in my body? Or am I? So, so anyway, let's just, one more time, just get comfortable and close your eyes and allow your body to relax. I'll just rattle. And this time, as you take a breath in, really feel your body. Feel it where it's sitting or laying down, or just really feel it. What's it feeling like right now? What's it feeling like after that journey? And in your mind, just go through your body and scan it. Do a scan. And look for anywhere there's tightness or discomfort or pain even. And just take a minute and breathe into this place. Breathe into the place where you feel any tightness. And as your mind goes back through the journey, just see what's feeling out of place, what's feeling tight, what's feeling uncomfortable within your physical body. And ask yourself the question, where am I storing this resistance? Where am I storing this fear? And pay attention to the answer that comes to your mind almost immediately. And as you breathe into this space in your body where you feel you are storing resistance or holding resistance, again, we're going to visualize a pulsing light. This can be any color it needs to be, but just visualize it in that place where you are putting your breath. And look within your mind and see if there's any memories associated with this shape, this color, this place in your body. And if a memory comes up, allow yourself to feel the memory, but know that it is only a memory. It is not in the present moment. And just remain detached from it and keep breathing into that shape, that pulse, that color. And as you put your breath, as you direct your breath to this spot, visualize it dissolving as you breathe in. Let it dissolve, and as you breathe out, just breathe out any residue, any residual. And take a deep breath into this spot. Watch it dissolve. And breathe out any residual, any residue. And with each breath you take, just visualize it getting smaller and smaller. It may not completely dissolve, but just let your breath make it smaller. Let your breath soothe that place in your body. And let your breath move it out. And take a couple more deep breaths and allow your body to completely relax as much as you can. And with the next breath, just bring yourself back into your physical body, back into this space, and back into the room where you are. And just come back into yourself, into the present moment. And this is a journey that you can do. You can listen to the recording or you can do it on your own. It's good when you're feeling something you can't quite get a handle on and you just want it out, or you want to know the source of it. It's a good practice. It can give you insight into your actual physicality and what's going on with you. So, and it's not too long. So, Christine, are you awake?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Ah.
I know I was worried, but I was okay.
Just calling everybody back. Should I do a I should get my chimes. My angel chimes. So before we talk about, before I go over next time, I want to I actually was asking today, I was meditating with asking my grandmothers for new advice, if they had any. And some of this might be, repeating, but I asked them about fear and about resistance, mostly resistance, but I think they're very closely related. And I'm just going to read you what they said because it was kind of interesting, and it helped put me in a better place. So this fear and resistance is a back and forth process of letting go and holding on that we see in many of you at this time. It is important not to judge yourself when you run into resistance or fear, but ask yourself why it is so. Explore where it is coming up and if it is really meaningful or if it is just a habit that you have failed to notice that you have. Look at the places in your body that cling on to old things. There is a lesson there or a way you can quickly dissolve the feeling. As an example, this morning you were telling yourself a story about your mother. You had yourself almost in a panic, and then you sat down and picked up your drum. This is a way you can notice something and resolve it quickly. Everyone has a particular way to come back to center and realize their own truth. Explore some ways that you can do this and practice them before writing. Examples are meditation, drumming, singing along with your favorite music, movement of any kind, especially dancing, getting outside, and finally, if there is no time, just breathing into the place in your body where you feel the resistance or fear. As we have said before, most often fear lives only in your head. Once you know this well and truly, you will find it less and less in your energy field. There's a lot of collective fear right now. It is necessary to clear it from your own body and energy field, and in this way, the collective moves forward out of fear. This is a hard concept to grasp, but one in which the way forward can be found. All is in divine order always, no matter how things may appear in a collective illusion. This understanding is one that can make the collective reality so much more inviting. There is only love in the end, presenting itself in a million different ways. So that's what they had to say to me, and their point, I think a lot of their point was, to really get yourself out of that place, do something, make some movement, because movement is going to move you forward no matter what it is. And so I think that's important to remember. So we will have a session Thursday at 6 p.m. I will send out a schedule. I was going to do it before class, and that didn't happen. So anyway, I will send out a schedule this week, and most of the other Thursday sessions will be at 7, but this one is at 6. And for next time, just keep up your process. Explore your closet if you like. Or if it's all clean, then, you know, we'll, that's good. And if you want, do that exercise to the dissolving the fear in your body. Do it a couple more times and see what comes up. I'd be interested to hear, you know, if you choose to do that. So that's really all. I may actually send you a couple of other questions to think about for working with your little child / teenager / young adult and helping her out. But that is all, unless there are some questions, comments, any sharing of this last journey that you want to do.
Only that it was, I didn't expect another body area to become so apparent so quickly, and it was, you're right, it was just immediate. And then then things started flooding in, and so that was very interesting. Also really cool. I was grateful for that amount of information all of a sudden.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
No, just it's Cindy, Jean. Thank you. There was 2 places immediate, and it just moved very, very fast and quickly, like it was ready to move. So thank you.
Oh, awesome. Good. Yeah, and you can use something like drumming or dancing or singing or whatever gets you out of a moment of whatever resistance. Those are good ways to do it. All right. Well, I apologize once again. I see my camera is muted. I don't know how to get it unmuted though, so I'm going to work on that before Thursday.
Mhm.
And I will have your recording up by tomorrow. So
Thank you.
thank you all so
Thank
much.
you.
Very
Yeah,
good.
no.
Thank
you.
you.
I will see you on Thursday.
Great.
Thank you
Happy
so much.
equinox.
Happy
Happy
evening.
equinox, happy spring.
Yay.
Bye
Spring.
all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't know.